Just remember, you're only pretending.
But I'm not, Bea, am I? You're the one that's pretending. You think you're top dog, but you can't enforce it. And if you can't enforce it, you haven't got it, have you? So give us a light, would you?
I can enforce anything I want. Now, just remember, all I have to do is wait till the screws unwound. Now, don't thump Doreen, and don't try and make me light your cigarettes. Just remember, you are only pretending. Now, sit down. Here, Margot, you haven't finished your coffee. Oh, Margot, you are so careless.
Miss Bennet.
What are you doing here in your dressing gown, Gaffney? You ought to be dressed and at breakfast by now.
I've been scolded.
Where? Oh, hardly a mark.
By B. Smith. Her amnesia's all a lie. She just beat me up because I wouldn't go along with her plan.
Are you prepared to make a statement to that effect?
What happens to me afterwards if I do? Smith will kill me. Get me transferred to Barnhurst and I'll talk.
Barnhurst is medium security. They'll never let you go there.
I'm sure it could be arranged if it was for Gaffney's protection. After all, she is cooperating. Leave it with me. I'll arrange it. Now get back to the dining room, or Smith might suspect something.
Yeah, right.
You can't make a deal like that without checking with the governor first.
All right, I'll check with her. I told you Smith was faking.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, good morning. What are you doing here? I thought you'd be in court for Mrs. Brooks' trial.
Yes, I will be there, but I just want to see one of the ladies about a parole first.
Gaffney will be going to court with you as well.
You're not going to put me in the same paddy wagon as B.
You'll be all right as long as you keep your mouth shut.
G'day, B.
What's she doing here?
Gaffney's appealing against her sentence. She'll be appearing in the court next to yours.
You wouldn't remember all that, B, not with your amnesia.
All right, come on, out you go.
Where's Gaffney going to court?
She's going to testify against Smith to prove once and for all that her amnesia is a pack of lies.
All right, ladies, inside.
Yeah, how come she's in with us if she's appearing in a different court?
There isn't room anywhere else.
I would have been in a different cell.
There isn't any room, Gaffney, so keep quiet. Smith and Mrs. Brooks will be in court soon, so you'll have the place to yourself.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes, that's right.
My name's Harper. I'm appealing for Mrs. Brooks and Mr. Smith. I wonder if I could have a word with my clients alone, please.
Yes, of course. Come on, Gaffney.
Right, there's just a few procedural points I'd like to go through with you before we get into court.
How can you defend both of us?
Pardon?
If Mum's case depends on blackening me, you're not going to do me much good.
Mum.
That's what the women in prison call me.
Oh, I see. Oh, I don't think there'll be any conflict of interest. Mrs. Brooks' defence depends upon her knowledge of you before you lost your memory. Your defence depends upon us convincing them of your amnesia. We'll do that first. We'll discuss the legal arguments in the judge's chambers. Once that's been established, the trials can proceed. No, you won't be required to say anything since you'll be pleading guilty.
Guilty?
Guilty with mitigating circumstances. Don't worry so much, Mr. Smith. Just trust me.
You think I'll get off then?
I think so. It'll help when you go to court. You don't appear quite so alert. Judges seem to have a very fixed view about how amnesiac behaves.
Now, what's all this about, George? Guilty with mitigating circumstances. Are you saying it isn't Smith's fault she escaped?
Amnesia, Your Honour. She was knocked out in an accident. It caused her to lose her memory. She couldn't remember being in prison. Therefore, she can't be held responsible for escaping.
Oh, that's very good, George. Have you got any evidence of this amnesia?
Of course.
Found yourself a tame psychiatrist, have you, George?
Well, he found me. Dr. Wiseman, the Department of Corrective Services.
Carl, is he giving evidence?
He's outside now.
Well, wheel him in. Oh, Carl isn't easily fooled.
Oh, come in, please, Doctor.
Thank you.
Carl, how nice to see you.
Your Honour.
You know Frank Waller, don't you?
How are you?
Bit unusual to find you giving evidence for the defence. A coffee?
No, thanks, Your Honour.
Well, sit down, sit down.
Thank you.
Now, what's all this about amnesia? Genuine, is it?
Well, I think so. I was called to the Wentworth Detention Centre by Erica Davidson. She was convinced that Smith had lost her memory. After examining her, I agreed.
When was this?
About a week after she was recaptured. She was still showing signs of disorientation. No recollection at all of any of the events connected with her two imprisonments.
So she claimed.
I believed her.
Have any other doctors examined her?
No, but we will be doing further tests. Now, if her memory doesn't return, it raises the question of whether she should be in prison at all. She could be released on psychiatric grounds.
And what if her memory does return?
Well, it doesn't affect this case, does it? The point is, if she had lost her memory at the time of the crash and wandered off, she was not responsible for her actions.
That seems pretty clear. And what do you make of it, Frank?
The whole thing's a fraud. Smith's obviously pulling the wool over everyone's eyes.
You're questioning my professional opinion without evidence.
But I do have evidence, Doctor. I have a witness who's prepared to swear that Smith's amnesia story is just a pack of lies.
Medical evidence?
One of the other prisoners.
Oh, I see. Well, the respective merits of the evidence will have to be decided by the jury. All I can say is that if the amnesia is proven, I shall direct the jury to accept the plea of guilty with mitigating circumstances. I take it Mrs. Brooks is still pleading not guilty?
Oh, yes, Your Honour.
Very well. I'll see you all in court.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wiseman. Now, you know we don't...
Members of the jury, you have already heard the evidence of Detective Sergeant Rouse concerning the accused's escape from custody and her eventual recapture at the home of Mrs. Brooks. These facts the defense does not dispute.
The prosecution claims to have evidence that your amnesia is
Had
contrived.
no memory at all of
I
having
can't
been in
have.
prison at the time of her escape.
You sure?
Mr. Hartman, when I was arrested, I couldn't remember a thing.
Especially
I still
when you hear
can't.
the evidence of our next witness. The prosecution calls Margot Jane Gaffney to the stand.
Call Margot Jane Gaffney.
Who's she?
She's a prisoner from Wentworth.
She got any evidence that could affect our case?
No.
Place your right hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Please be seated.
You are Margot Jane Gaffney, currently an inmate of the Wentworth Detention Centre.
That's right.
And you know the accused, Beatrice Alice Smith.
Yeah, we're in the same cell block.
Would you tell the court what conversation took place between you and Smith on the afternoon of the 17th?
Yeah. I was walking along the corridor. She'd been locked in a cell.
Why had she been locked in?
She'd been in a fight.
And what did the accused say to you?
Well, I spoke to her first. I asked her if she was all right. She said she was. She said she didn't mind getting into a fight as long as the screws didn't get onto her. She reckoned no matter what happened, she was going to keep pretending that she didn't know who she was. She reckoned she was going to get out of prison for good.
You bloody liar!
Sit down. Mr. Hartman, you will instruct your client to refrain from such outbursts?
Keep quiet. Carry on like that and this jury will believe anything she says about you.
What was Smith's position among the other prisoners prior to a transfer to Barnhurst?
She was top dog. She ran the place.
And since her recapture?
The same. Only she made me pretend that I was running things.
But if what you say is true, you're running considerable risk testifying against her. But isn't that so?
Yeah.
Well, then why are you testifying?
I want to see justice done.
You're currently serving a 10-year sentence for abduction and armed robbery. And you want to see justice done.
Objection. Witness isn't on trial here.
Objection sustained. The defense counsel's last remark will be deleted from the record. Mr. Hartman, kindly restrict yourself to questions of fact.
Yes, Your Honour. No further questions, Your Honour.
You may step down.
Well, she's not exactly the ideal witness, but she's enough to put doubt into the jury's mind. Do you have any other witnesses to this conversation between you?
There was no conversation. She's got it in for me because of something that happened before I was transferred, but I don't know what it was because I can't remember. Maybe Mum knows.
I hardly think Mrs. Brooks is the ideal witness.
Well, even if Bea has got her memory back, what difference does it make? The point is she'd lost her memory when she escaped.
I have not got my memory back. Look, I tell you, she's got it in for me. Everyone in the prison knows that.
Mr. Hartman, is this a private conversation or is it something we should all hear?
I'm sorry, Your Honour, but in view of the prosecution's surprise witness, we'd like a short recess to prepare our response.
You don't seem to have prepared your defence very thoroughly, Mr. Hartman. Very well.